Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Dre in the Kitchen. So the fall is here, depending on where you are in the country or the world. For us currently, it's kind of cool in South Florida. For those of you who are in the Northeast, it's kind of cool, or in the Midwest. So I wanted to do something that's fun, hearty, and absolutely amazing. So in this episode, we're actually going to be creating two separate dishes. We're going to do a no-knead bread. Super simple. I make this bread all the time. I'm going to show you my tips and tricks. And number two, we're going to do a cream of tomato soup. And I love it because, and I'll show you, if you're like me, I have them over here. We have a variety of different tomatoes that we get, and I have all these beautiful little tomatoes. And I was like, you know what? Let's turn it all into a soup. So join me in the kitchen and let's get started. So to make the no-knead bread, we're going to start with that because it takes a little bit of a process. So I have just a stainless steel bowl. If you have a glass bowl, anything that's large enough, you're gonna have, I have a measuring, this is a 2-cup measuring. We're gonna use 1 1/4 cups of lukewarm water, which I'll show you. If you wanna be precise, we have a thermometer that you can use to test. We're looking for the water to be at 105 degrees Fahrenheit. A little bit of active dry yeast. My secret ingredient, a little dot of agave into the yeast. It'll feed it, and I have all-purpose flour. So let's put this all together. This is the best part. So we're going to start with, we have to actually bloom our yeast. So to get the right temperature, simply use your tap water, put it on the highest setting, and it should be very lukewarm to the touch. We don't want it too hot, because if your yeast is it's too hot, your water's too hot, you get to kill the yeast, and that is not what we're looking for. So let me get this together and I'll show you. The water's nice and hot, so let's do 1 1/4 cups. Alright, so I put 1 1/4 cup, and remember I said you want it to be a certain temperature. So you want it at least between 102 and 107 degrees. So as you can see, we're at 106.7, so we're spot on to exactly what we're looking for. But it's nice and warm to the touch, so if you don't have a thermometer, it's fine. We'll test this out. To this, we're going to put in 2 teaspoons of my active dry yeast. There you go. We're gonna put just sort of, I guess, a teaspoon and a half of agave. Just a little bit of that sweetness. And then you just use a fork, use anything. I had a little whisk. You're just gonna mix it up. And that's it, set it to the side. You'll know if your yeast is alive when you start to see some bubbles. So I'm gonna put it off to the side and let's start measuring our dry ingredients. This is the easiest no-knead bread. I do a little bit of kneading, but it's the simplest recipe that you can make. You can do this anytime. Once you understand the basics of this bread recipe, you can add cheddar to it. I've made it with cheddar cheese. I've made it with olives. You can throw just about anything in here, and that's what I love the most. So how do you measure? So normally, when you weigh and you add flour, you don't pack it in. Sort of, I learned that from Ina Garden. You kind of just loosen it up a little bit, then you can use your finger, just measure roughly. There's 1, there should be some air in it. You want to make sure that it's not compacted. That's about 2 cups there. Perfect. And we'll do 1 more because it's a total of 3 cups. I loosen it up. There we go, just a little bit on there. Okay. 3 cups. To this, we're going to add kosher salt. Now, I use Diamond Kosher. If you use Morton's Kosher, it's a little saltier than this one. And into this, I'm going to put in a tablespoon of salt. It may seem like a lot, but it's going to flavor the flour. I have another whisk. And then you just kind of mix it up a little bit, just to combine. Set that to the side. Now, we're going to wait another 5 minutes for the yeast to bloom, but I want you to see this. You see the foam that's happening up on top? Let me see if I can show you. That's exactly what you're looking for. So we're going to wait another 5 minutes. Let that bloom a little more, and then we'll combine all the ingredients together. So here we are. You see the froth, all the foam? That's exactly what you're looking for. So now we're going to combine. Again, it's 3 cups of all-purpose flour, not compacted 3 cups, so just nice and loose. 1 tablespoon of kosher salt. I use Diamond Kosher. I'm going to make a little well in the center here. I'm just going to pour it right in the middle. Make sure you get all that goodness out of your measuring cup. Then easy with the spatula, slowly, because if not, you will make a mess and you will wear this. So let me tell you what you're looking for. You see how it's coming together right here? That's all you want. It's a little wet. It's not too wet. As you can see, not much is sticking to the spatula, and that's what you're looking for. Maybe in another video, I'll discuss how there's different levels of hydration into a dough. I would probably say this is almost 50% hydration. As we start working on like focaccia recipes and things of that nature, I'll definitely show you. So here I am. You can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm just absorbing whatever little bit of flour is left in the bowl, putting it together into a little ball. Very little is sticking to my hands, which is fantastic, because now comes the rest period. All right, so we have it shaped into a ball. I'm going to take a clean kitchen towel. I'm going to place it over, and now we have to proof this for about 30 to 45 minutes. I simply put it in the oven, turn on your oven light, you're not turning the oven on, place it inside, and forget about it for the first 45 minutes. After the 45 minutes, I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to pull and turn 4 times, so I'll see you in a few minutes. So now that we have the bread proofing in the oven, let's get started on making the tomato mixture. So we're going to do a cream of tomato soup, right? Okay, so what are we going to need? Literally, if you have the tomato, because I like to buy these big tubs of these little cherry tomatoes, and I get them at Restaurant Depot, you can get them at Walmart, you can get them at your local grocery store. The fresher the better. In the summer when it's tomato season, y'all, it's just dynamite. So literally, these have been rinsed. I put them to the side. I'm going to add them to this oven-proof container. Since I'm proofing in this oven, I have my little side oven that we're gonna put all of that in there. So literally, I just have all the tomatoes in there. I have 4 cloves of garlic. Dump them in. It's that simple. And then to that, I'm gonna add 2 shallots. Why shallots? Do you have to use shallots? Not really. So as I'm cutting these, I'll explain. So shallots to me have this beautiful sweetness. If you have not used shallots and you can come across them, please try them out. They have just literally, and when they cook, they have that sweetness. It's very different from your standard white onion, your yellow onion, your Spanish onion, your red onion. Could you use any of those other alliums? Absolutely. There's no rhyme or reason. I just personally love the taste of shallots. So as you can see, we're just pulling it apart. We're not doing anything to it. I cut it in half. Into that it's gonna go, because why? This is gonna go into an oven at 450 degrees for about a good 30 to 45 minutes. I want them to roast, because when they roast, everything gets this beautiful char. The shallots become sweeter. Oh, it's just dynamite, I'm telling you. This is the easiest soup recipe, and what I love the most, again, just took it apart, nothing to it, in it goes. The beautiful part of this all is that you can use something other than tomatoes. If you have butternut squash, if you have honey squash, you go to your heart's content. Whatever your happy place is, whatever squash you like, or whatever you want to do, it's entirely up to you. So here it is. I'm going to add a little extra virgin olive oil. Hang on. I love this Italian extra virgin olive oil. I always find it at Home Goods. The one in a gold wrapper, it's super rich, fruity, and delicious. Just a little bit. That's it. I'm not adding any salt, any pepper. None of that. We'll add all of that later. We're going to put this in the oven at 450 degrees. I don't want you to do broil because then it'll char rather quickly. I want it to slowly crisp up, and just trust me, it's gonna be absolutely delicious. So 45 minutes have come and gone, and take a look at look at the char on the shallots. Just the aroma itself is intoxicating, I'm telling you. So now what do? I took it out of the oven. It smells so good. I'm going to use my Vitamix. If you have an immersion blender, you can use one of those as well. If you have a regular blender, by all means. This is very hot, so I'm using a spoon. I'm just going to scoop all of this in. Oh, wow. Looks absolutely amazing. I wish you could smell this. And literally, we're going to take it all, and we're going to put it inside. Peels and all. If these were different tomatoes, I would have removed the skin, but the skin here is so thin, it'll just get pulverized in here. So hang on one second while I pour it all in. Yes. Oh, that smells heavenly. Okay. So there we go. Oh, hold on. Almost missed a tomato. Then to this, now I have homemade stock. I totally forgot to take it out, but I always keep these Trader Joe's bone broth. So I have chicken bone broth. You can use vegetable. You can use whatever you like, actually. You can use water. It's entirely up to you. But for this instance, oh, hold on. Oh, scissors. I knew I had them somewhere. Hang on one second. I'm just going to take this little corner out. And I'm going to pour this entire, what is this? This is 1 pint, so it's a little over, it's almost 17 ounces, so a little more than a pint. Put it all in. Put it all in. This is how easy this is. When you make this recipe, please come back and let me know. Send me a message. Excuse me while we hear a little bit of noise, okay? Let it do its magic. Everything happens in the blender. That's it. Now let me show you what we're going to do. Put that to the side. Let me move this out of the way. Here I have my little pot. We're just looking to take it out of here, put it inside. It's this gorgeous color. Almost looks like it's carrot soup because of the different colors of the tomatoes. And when you add air and you put it through the blender, it changes the color a little bit, which is, oh, I wish you could smell it. I haven't even added salt or anything. So to this, we're going to move this to the stovetop. We're going to put this on a low simmer, and we're going to let it go for about a good 20 to 30 minutes. Then we're going to season it. And what I do to season it is salt. I'm going to use white pepper and a little sherry vinegar. That's my secret in this. So to the stove. And let me change the angle of this camera. So now we're going to let this simmer on the stovetop, but I'm going to go ahead and add, here's my kosher salt. We're going to add in about a good 1.5 teaspoons to start. 1 teaspoon of white pepper. And then to this, we're going to add a little bit of my sherry vinegar, which is absolutely delightful. A little splash. It's probably about 1 to 1.5 teaspoons. We're going to let this simmer and go for a little bit, and we'll keep adjusting it. Notice that it's creamy, and I haven't put in any heavy cream yet. But it's been about a good 20-25 minutes. It smells amazing. Just look at that gorgeous color. To this, let's take that spoon out. We're going to add a little bit of mascarpone cheese. Probably, I'd say about a good, I don't know. If you can see this, it's probably about a good, what do we say? Almost 1/4 cup. Put that in there. Whoops, a little bit of a mess. A good 1/4 cup's worth. We're going to use our little whisk here just to get that nicely incorporated. As the soup reduces, it is naturally thickening up on its own. And that's the beauty of this. That's why I have it at, this is obviously a glass cooktop at number 5, so it's a medium. I don't want it to boil. but I want it to steam beautifully the way it is, and that'll reduce it nicely on its own. There we go, nicely incorporated. The mascarpone cheese has melted. Put that to the side. Next, we're gonna go ahead and add our Calabrian chilies. Let me show you what container. So you can always find these Calabrian chilies. I find them on Amazon. They're actually in my favorite Italian market that's close to my home. And then I'm gonna put in, you can do this to your heart's content. That's the amount I'm putting in. Not too much. It's gonna add a beautiful sweet heat. And it's gonna be dynamite. You don't have to use this. You can omit it if you like. In our home, we like a little bit of spice because it makes everything so nice. There. So now the soup is simmering. I added the Calabrian chilies. I added the sherry vinegar. I added the salt and the white pepper, a little bit of heavy cream, and it is absolutely divine. Now you can customize the heat that you want. Add more Calabrian chilies if you like. Add less. So many different things. You can use red pepper flakes. It's just, for me, the Calabrian chilies are the chef's kiss of it all. So now let's pull out the bread. I want to show you what it looks like. So into my oven I go. I'm pulling it out. So she's been in the oven for about a good 45 minutes. And as you can see, she's doubled in size. So what do we do here? I'm going to take my hands. I'm not adding any moisture to this. And we're literally just, they're clean hands. I just washed them. We're going to go in. So there's a couple of things we're going to do. I think we're going to need a little bit of flour here. I'm looking at it and she's got some beautiful hydration. So there's a couple of things. Before I move this bread around, let's get it ready. So what do I have? I'm about to preheat my oven to 450 degrees. We're going to let that preheat. Then we're going to put in, I have one, here let me show you. This is what? A 5-quart? I think it's a 5-quart. I've had this cooked since 2012 and I use it exclusively to make all my bread. So before I do that, we're going to take a piece of parchment paper and then we're going to crumble it. Sorry about the noise. It'll make sense now. Then you're going to open it. So when I fold the bread and she's ready to go, I'm going to put this into the bowl. Follow along. So here we go. I added some flour. We're pulling and then pulling it over. Repeat, pull, let it go over. See that little bit of extra flour was necessary. Pull, fold over one more time. Then we're going to pull that last fourth pull and fold it over. So it's still a little on the wet side, which is not bad. But for me to transfer this, we're going to need a little more flour. And that's the beauty. It depends on the weather, it depends on the humidity levels in your house. There's so many factors that go into this. But now that we folded that over, we're going to lift it, take that parchment paper, and why am I doing this? Because the parchment paper, I'm going to let this rise again for another 30 minutes. But once it rises, then it's going to go into the cast iron, into my Dutch oven that's about to go into that preheated 450 degree oven. So once it hits temperature, you put your cast iron in there for 30 minutes, then take it out, and this will rise in 30 minutes, and then we're gonna put it in there and bake it. It's so easy. It just takes a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, a little bit of love, and y'all stay tuned. I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So now I put it in the parchment. I'm gonna cover it back up with kitchen towel. There we go. Let this rise again for 30 to 45 minutes. And in that time, we're going to put the Dutch oven in the oven. It'll preheat, get ready. Oh, this is going to be so good. Stay tuned, y'all. The time has come. Time to remove the heated Dutch oven from the oven. It's been in there for about a good 30 minutes. I just turned the timer off. Let me take it out and let me show you how we're going to put all this together. All right. Yes, in my kitchen, everything you use all body parts. Legs to close oven doors, all the good things. Anyway, all right, so here we are. We're going to do this really quickly. I'm going to take this cover off. I may have a little bit of steam coming out. Let me show you what our bread. So the bread has risen. It's about double in size. And this is why we did the parchment paper, because then all you do is lift, put it in. Remember that the lid is absolutely scalding hot. We're gonna cover this again. Into the oven it goes, covered at for 30 minutes. Remember, the oven is at 450 degrees. So 30 minutes have gone by. Let's take the bread out. This is so much fun. I wish you guys could smell this. Hold on. Let's take you out. Alrighty. Again, we use our feet. Close that oven door. Do not, for anything on God's good earth, touch. So we're going to put this upside down. I'm going to show you. And now it goes back into our oven. Look at that. Doesn't that look amazing? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. So back into the oven, 25 minutes, and then she's ready. And then I'll put it all together for you. It's completely ready. Take a look. Hold on. This is very, very hot. So let me put these gloves back on and I will show you how unbelievable this looks. Hang on, let me move this to the side. I took out the Parmesan cheese. Hold on. I think sometimes it's easier just to lift it up. But you gotta be careful because your parchment paper was in the oven. Let's put this lid on. Everything is still super hot. Please wear your gloves. And let me lift this up. Take a look at how delicious this bread looks. I wish you could smell it. I'm gonna let that cool down about 30 minutes and then I'm gonna pour it all together. Oh my goodness. Let me show you what you're gonna have now. So here we are. We're finally at the end. Oh my goodness. Between making the soup, getting the bread ready. Yes, it took a little bit of time. Do you have to make homemade bread? No, but why not? It's so easy. So to my bowl, don't worry, the thumbnail will have the full picture. I added some extra virgin olive oil from I think this one, I buy all my olive oil from oliveoillovers.com. And sometimes I get some nice ones at Home Goods, Home Sense, or even TJ Maxx or Marshall sometimes carries it in the home section. A little piece of my homemade bread, which smells so good. So let's take a taste and see how good is it. I had a little Parmesan cheese on top. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so we're gonna dip a piece of bread. There are no words. Thank you for following me. Thank you for enjoying. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. And if you did, not to worry. Thanksgiving's around the corner. I'll be uploading lots of videos with some ideas, some options, some Puerto Rican dishes, some traditional dishes. And from my kitchen to yours, thank you for following me on Dre in the Kitchen, and I'll talk to you guys soon on the next video. Enjoy!